Hey everyone, Frank Menard here, and today I just want to bring you a quick message because during my walk this morning, I was reminded of a phrase that I had heard many times in the past. And the phrase is, change your attitude, change your life. And I thought, with everything that we've got going on in today's world, maybe it would be a great opportunity today to share a message on what changing your attitude, what impact it can have on changing your life. So today's message, the power of attitude. It has been said that life is 10% what happens to us and 90% how we respond to it. That single truth, if understood and applied, can change the entire course of a man or a woman's life. And yet, most people never truly grasp it. They drift like ships without a rudder, blaming circumstances, other people, or even fate, never realizing that the power to change their lives lies not out there somewhere, but within themselves. It lies in one word, in attitude. Earl Nightingale, often called the Dean of Personal Development, once defined attitude as the position or bearing of the mind. In other words, the direction in which our thoughts lean, our outlook or our mindset, our inner weather system. Change that and you change everything. Now, let's explore together how a simple shift in attitude can transform failure into success, despair into hope, and an ordinary life into an extraordinary one. Because you see, attitude shapes your destiny. Napoleon Hill wrote, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve." But what allows us to believe? What keeps us believing in the face of difficulty? It is attitude. Attitude is not some trivial accessory of personality. It is the architect of destiny. A person with a positive, expectant attitude will see possibilities where others see only problems. They will persist when others give up. And in time, life will yield to them its treasures. Brian Tracy once observed, "You cannot control what happens to you, but you can control your attitude toward what happens to you. And in that, you will be mastering change rather than allowing it to master you." That is the dividing line between those who drift and those who direct their lives with intention. Think of attitude as the steering wheel of the mind. If it is fixed on fear, resentment, or hopelessness, you will steer yourself toward failure. But if it is set on faith, gratitude, and resilience, you will steer yourself toward growth, prosperity, and fulfillment. You see, it's the law of cause and effect. Jim Rohn taught us that success is neither magical nor mysterious. He said success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. What disciplines are we speaking of? They begin in the mind, with attitude. Attitude sets the cause in motion. Life responds with the effect. A poor attitude toward work yields poor results. A generous attitude toward others yields goodwill and opportunity. A grateful attitude yields peace and joy. Tony Robbins likes to remind us, where focus goes, energy flows. And what determines our focus if not our attitude? With the wrong focus, our energy drains into complaints, excuses, and self-pity. With the right focus, our energy multiplies into courage, creativity, and action. This law of cause and effect is not some mystical secret. It is as real as gravity. Your attitude is the cause. Your life is the effect. Now let's talk about adversity. Because if there's one constant in life, it is that storms will come. No life is free of difficulty. Napoleon Hill said, "Every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. But whether that seed grows or withers depends on attitude. The person who asks, "Why me?" shuts the door to growth. But the person who asks, "What can I learn here? How can this make me stronger?" That purpose opens the door to wisdom. Consider the biographies of great men and women. Nearly all of them endured setbacks, rejection, failure, or loss. What distinguished them was not luck, but the way they chose to respond. Their attitude turned stumbling blocks into stepping stones. Earl Nightingale once said, "Don't concern yourself with the money. Be of service. Build, work, dream, create. Do this, and you'll find there is no limit to the prosperity and abundance that will come to you." That is the essence of attitude in adversity. It chooses creation over complaint, service over self-pity, and action over paralysis. Let us now turn to relationships. Attitude does not only shape our personal success, it shapes the quality of our connections with others. Have you ever noticed that people with a consistently sour, negative outlook repel opportunities, repel friendships, and trust? Meanwhile, those with a positive, encouraging attitude attract support, collaboration, and goodwill. Jim Rohn wisely said, "You are the average of the people, the 5 people you spend the most time with." But here's the question. What do certain people want to spend time with you? Why do they want to spend time with you? The answer is, once again, attitude. A warm, open, generous attitude makes you magnetic. It invites people in. It builds bridges. It creates trust. On the other hand, a cynical or self-centered attitude erects walls and isolates you from the very people who might help you grow. As Brian Tracy reminds us, the greatest gift you can give to others is the gift of unconditional love and acceptance. And what is unconditional acceptance if not attitude? An inner posture of goodwill. One of the most transformative attitudes a person can cultivate is gratitude. Earl Nightingale said, "Learn to enjoy every minute of life. Be happy now. Don't wait for something outside of yourself to make you happy in the future." Gratitude is the attitude that transforms ordinary days into blessings and challenges into opportunities. Tony Robbins, who has coached millions, often emphasizes gratitude as a foundation of fulfillment. He says, "When you are grateful, fear disappears and abundance appears." Gratitude changes the lens through which we see life. Instead of saying, "I have to," a grateful attitude says, "I get to. I get to work. I get to serve. I get to grow." This subtle shift turns obligation into privilege, drudgery into opportunity, and scarcity into abundance. Changing your attitude, changing your habits. It is one thing to talk about attitude. It is yet another to live it. How do we change our attitude in practical terms? Well, first, we change by changing what we allow into our minds. Earl Nightingale often said, we become what we think about. What you feed your mind will grow. If you consume negativity, fear, and complaint, your attitude will certainly reflect it. If you feed your mind with uplifting ideas, noble goals, and empowering beliefs, your attitude will reflect that instead. Secondly, by changing our daily habits. Jim Rohn told us discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. The discipline of rising early, reading, journaling, exercising, and serving others creates momentum. and that momentum shapes attitude. Thirdly, by surrounding ourselves with positive influences. You cannot keep a healthy attitude in a toxic environment. Choose your associations wisely. Let's speak now about leadership. A leader's attitude sets the tone for an entire organization, a family, or even a community. People may hear your words, but they feel your attitude. Napoleon Hill wrote about the mastermind principle, the power of harmony among people working toward a definite purpose. But harmony is impossible without the right attitude. A leader with a closed, critical attitude destroys trust. A leader with an open, encouraging attitude builds unity. Brian Tracy observed the true test of leadership is how well you function in a crisis. And what determines how well you function but your attitude. Leadership is not about position or power. It is about responsibility, and the attitude of responsibility transforms ordinary people into extraordinary leaders. Now, it is worth pausing here to consider the cost of a poor attitude. How many careers have been destroyed, not by incompetence, but by arrogance? How many marriages have been lost, not by lack of love, but by a negative, resentful attitude? How many dreams have withered, not because they were impossible, but because the dreamer lost heart? As Jim Rohn put it, for things to change, you have to change. And often the first change required is in your attitude. The greatest danger of a poor attitude is that it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The pessimist expects failure, and so he half-heartedly tries, and so he fails, which confirms his pessimism. And the cycle repeats. Meanwhile, the optimist expects opportunity, and so he seeks it, and so he finds it, which confirms his optimism, and the cycle repeats. Now let's bring all this down to earth. How can we change our attitude starting today? Well, number one, take ownership. Stop blaming others. The moment you accept responsibility for your life is the moment you gain power to change it. Number two, guard your mind. Limit negative inputs. Read, listen, and watch what will uplift you. Number three, practice gratitude daily. Write down 3 things you're grateful for every morning. 4, affirm positive beliefs. Speak life into your day. Napoleon Hill calls this autosuggestion. Number 5, surround yourself with positive people. Join groups, masterminds, and circles that elevate your thinking. And number 6, act in spite of your feelings. Don't wait to feel motivated. Choose disciplined action. As Tony Robbins puts it, it's in your moments of decision that your destiny is shaped. Lastly, number 7, serve others. When you give, your attitude improves, your problems shrink, and your purpose expands. These are not complicated steps, but simple does not mean easy. The reward, however, is life-changing. Change your attitude, change your life. Let's return to that theme. Change your attitude and you change your thoughts. Change your thoughts and you change your actions. Change your actions and you change your results. Change your results and you change your life. It begins with the smallest seed, an attitude shift. Brian Tracy said, the greatest discovery of my generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind. That means no matter where you are, no matter what you've been through, you can change, you can grow, and you can rise. As I conclude, let me leave you with this challenge. Do not leave this room or this moment without deciding to take control of your attitude. Decide to see opportunity where others see obstacles. Decide to practice gratitude where others practice complaint. Decide to respond with faith where others respond with fear. As Napoleon Hill once reminded us, our limitations are those we set up in our own minds. Jim Rohn urged, either you run the day or the day runs you. And Brian Tracy promised us, develop an attitude of gratitude and give thanks for everything that happens to you, knowing that every step forward is a step toward achieving something bigger and better. And Anthony Robbins declared, it is in your moments of decision that your destiny is shaped. So I ask you, what will you decide today? Will you drift with the tide of negativity and defeat? Or will you set your sails with faith, gratitude, and resilience? Change your attitude and you will change your life. And in changing your life, you may just change the lives of countless others who look to you as an example. The choice is yours. Hey, folks, thank you so much for giving me your time today. I hope that you got as much out of this message as I did in preparing it. Um, Change our attitudes, change our lives. If you're not getting what you want out of life, take a look inside and see what changes you can make in your attitude to provide you with your best life ever. Thanks, guys. We'll talk soon.